Heartwarming reunion. Millionaire discovers incredible twins at airport. The hidden truth revealed. Jack Thompson strode with purpose through the bustling halls of O'Hare International Airport, the weight of his self-made million-dollar empire heavy on his shoulders. At 42, he had fought and clawed his way to the top, each success serving less as a victory and more as a solitary reminder of what he had sacrificed. As he glanced at the shiny watch on his wrist, he felt an emptiness gnawing at his gut. The luxury surrounding him, the tailored suits, the sleek cars, the penthouse views did little to fill the void. He was surrounded by travelers chatting and laughing, families and friends connecting, while he trudged on alone. Then he saw them. Twin girls, maybe 8 years old, with bright smiles and energy bursting from every pore. Mia and Layla dashed from one veteran to another, eagerly distributing colorful thank you cards they had made, their small hands filled with gratitude. The joy etched on their faces was infectious, starkly contrasting Jack's own solitary march. One veteran's eyes glistened as he accepted a card, and in that moment, Jack felt a stirring within, a flicker of the values he once cherished but had allowed to fade away. Intrigued, he approached the twins, kneeling to bring himself to their eye level. The girls squealed with excitement, offering him their handmade cards. "We're thanking people who served our country," Mia chirped, a huge smile lighting up her face. Layla nodded enthusiastically. Their innocence and selflessness reminded him of a time when he, too, found joy in small things. Here were two girls, finding purpose and connection in their struggles, shining bright in a world that often seemed dim. As he listened, Jack learned their mother was a single parent, working long hours as a waitress to provide for them in a struggling neighborhood not far from his gilded high-rise. The reality felt worlds apart, yet their resilience struck a chord within him. He had fought for financial success, but at what cost? Had he abandoned the very fabric of community that mattered most? Then came the twist of fate. It turned out that their mother was a childhood friend, someone he had lost touch with years ago, all for the allure of riches. Guilt bubbled up inside him, churning in a way he hadn't experienced in years. Words escaped him as he grappled with the weight of what he'd done. Here stood a man proud of his accomplishments, yet he hadn't flinched when friends fell away like autumn leaves. Before his mind could fully settle, a storm broke out in the girls' lives. Their mother faced the threat of losing her job due to corporate downsizing. The joyful light of Mia and Layla dimmed before him, replaced by flickering uncertainty. They might be separated, torn apart, just like his own family had frayed. In that moment, everything shifted. These twins ignited a sense of purpose within him that he hadn't felt in ages. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Jack felt the internal struggle intensify. Should he step in to help these girls, to reconnect with a past he had dismissed? Or should he protect himself, remaining a distant observer in the lives of those who reminded him of everything he had lost? The clock was ticking. The stakes were rising. Would he finally embrace the ties of familial love and connection? Or slip away, letting another chance at redemption slip through his fingers? As their eyes sparkled with hope, Jack wrestled with a decision that could change everything. Jack took a deep breath, his heart pounding as he looked back at Mia and Layla. Their innocent faces reflected a hope he had long forgotten, igniting something deep within him that felt like a long-lost spark. He knew he had to decide, and quickly. The thought of those girls losing their home, and potentially each other, tugged at his conscience. "Hey, how about we do something special for your mom?" Jack asked, feeling a warmth spread through his chest. He could hear their shared laughter ringing in his ears even as he spoke, vibrant and carefree. The twins exchanged curious glances, their eyes wide with excitement and uncertainty. "What do you mean?" Layla asked, biting her lower lip while Mia bounced on her toes. Jack smiled. The kind of genuine smile he hadn't worn in years. I know a lot about running businesses. Maybe I could help your mom with her job? Or even help her find a new one. The words spilled out of him, fueled by a rush of adrenaline and a desperate desire to connect again. Mia's face lit up. You'd really do that for her? Absolutely, he said, feeling a weight lift just by uttering those words. Layla clasped her hands together. She works really hard, you know? You can help her, right? He nodded, determination flooding through him. Maybe this wouldn't take away the void in his heart. But it was a start. The warmth in his heart grew, surging with a mission. He could be part of something bigger, help a struggling family, giving them hope when everything felt lost. Jack reached for his phone, scrolling through contacts as he scribbled down some potential leads for their mother's job prospects. The girls squealed in delight, as their energy seemed to echo through the airport, lifting the spirits of nearby travelers who watched with bemusement. Let us go find your mom, Jack said, rising to his feet. The twins grabbed his hands, and together they dashed toward the exit, weaving through crowds with the kind of ease that only children could muster. Jack hadn't felt this alive in years, laughter spilling from his lips as they dashed outside into the cool breeze. It wasn't just about helping their mother. It was about reconnecting with the joy of life he had lost. He envisioned himself becoming a small part of their family, creating bonds that mattered beyond wealth and success. But the closer they got to the parking lot, the slower their steps became. Ahead lay a modest car, rust clinging to its edges, the trunk adorned with worn-out stickers. As they approached, Jack spotted a familiar figure emerging from the driver's side, a tired woman with worry etched across her face. Mom! The twins called in unison, running toward her. His heart sank as he watched the joy on their faces clash with the heaviness in the woman's eyes. There was a confusion in her expression as she scanned the scene. Who was this man with her daughters? Did he come to help or just to gawk? Jack hesitated. This was the moment of truth for him. Would he step forward with hope or shrink back in fear? As he approached them, he felt that very familiar pang of uncertainty gnawing at his insides. What if she didn't want his help? What if she resented him for stepping in? But as he locked eyes with the woman, he knew he couldn't turn away. Hi, I'm Jack, he said, putting on a warm smile. I'd like to discuss how I can help. She blinked, surprise flashing across her face. But then something deeper, something guarded. What does that mean? She asked, crossing her arms, her voice steady but cautious. And just like that, the moment hung in the air, a question echoed between them. Would he find acceptance or rejection? The road ahead stretched uncertainly before him, but he knew one thing: this was just the beginning. Would he find a way to break through her barriers? Or would old wounds threaten to pull him back to a lonely life? Jack felt a knot tightening in his stomach. The woman before him was not just a stranger. She was the gateway to the girls he had just begun to care for. He could sense the tension, the walls she had built tight around her heart. This wasn't just about finding a job. It was about trust and survival. I know this might seem strange, Jack started slowly, gauging her reaction. But your daughters, they brighten my day. I wanted to help their mom, help you. He gestured slightly toward the girls, whose faces wore expressions of pure hope. She relaxed her stance a little, though her skepticism remained. You barely know us. Why would you bother? Jack couldn't blame her for questioning him. Life had taught them both different lessons. Because I know what it's like to feel lost, he admitted, his voice softening. I want to make a difference. I can help with job leads or even offer support if you need it. Her brow furrowed, and for a moment, she seemed to wrestle with the idea. And what do you get out of this? Her voice was steady, cutting through the air sharply. He answered with sincerity, honestly, I want to feel connected again. To be part of a family, even if just for a moment. The vulnerability of his admission struck him harder than he expected. Two small hands gripped his jacket tightly. Mom, please, Mia pleaded, her eyes shimmering. He can help you. Layla nodded, her enthusiasm infectious. We want him to help, Mom. Yes, nice. The woman looked from her daughters to Jack, her wall of caution slowly starting to crack. Jack felt the air shift, a tangible hope blooming in the silence. Would she allow him past that barrier? Fine, she said reluctantly, but there was a hint of curiosity sparking in her gaze. Let us hear what you have to say. Jack's heart raced with relief. The storm of uncertainty began to fade, replaced by the thrill of opportunity. Okay, he said, taking a step forward. I've got a few contacts in local businesses and a few ideas that might work. As they talked, Jack felt a connection building, woven through shared glances and the little chuckles as they discussed potential job leads. The woman's guarded demeanor slowly softened with each passing moment. Her name, he learned, was Sarah. He could see the hint of a smile tugging at her lips as they chatted more about the girls, their antics filling the space with laughter. It reminded him of simpler times, when laughter meant something beyond mere survival. But then, a shadow crossed her face again, the weight of their reality crashing back. I appreciate this, but I can't ask my girls to depend on someone they just met. Jack stood firm. I get that, but I also know that sometimes, help comes when you least expect it. Let me be part of this, even if it's just helping you put together a resume. Sarah looked torn, her heart clearly battling with her mind. Jack knew this moment wasn't just about a job. It was about trust. If he could help her see that he genuinely wanted to be there for her, maybe they could forge something real. Let us try, she finally said, her voice laced with weariness but also a glimmer of hope. I can give you 1 month to see if you really want to help. Deal, he replied, a wave of satisfaction washing over him. He glanced at the twins, who were practically vibrating with excitement. Now they could build a bridge crossing from isolation to connection. But as they finalized details, a haunting thought flickered in the back of Jack's mind. What if his presence stirred up more trouble than peace? He felt the promise of these new beginnings clash with the shadows of his own past. Mia, Layla, he began, kneeling so he was eye level with them. I really want to help your mom, but I need you two to be brave as well. Are you okay with that? The twins nodded vigorously, their innocence bolstering his resolve. Yet in the distance, a darker reality loomed, ready to test their newfound bond. What unseen challenges awaited them as they ventured into this fragile partnership? And as Jack turned back to Sarah, he couldn't shake the feeling that the hardest part was yet to come. Jack couldn't shake the feeling that something was about to shift. The fragile atmosphere hummed with unspoken promises, and he glanced at Sarah, noting the flicker of uncertainty in her eyes. They were standing on the brink of something, but the fear of what lay ahead loomed large. Why don't we start with a small talk about your goals? He suggested, trying to break the tension and redirect their focus. But Sarah just sighed, her breath heavy with the weight of unshared burdens. I want to be stable. I want a job that can support my girls and give them a life without fear. Jack nodded, understanding more than she knew. That's a good start. What have you done before? The words seemed to sink into the ground like stones. She paused, her expression hardening. Feels like a lifetime ago. I used to be a teacher, but after her voice trailed off, and for a brief moment, Jack saw the walls slam back into place. The warmth of their earlier connection faded, replaced by the chill of a past she couldn't escape. He wanted to reach out to assure her that he was not like the rest. I believe you can get there again, Sarah, he urged gently. Let us work together and figure it out. One step at a time. She looked at him, a mixture of hope and doubt crossing her features. Do you really think it's that easy? Jack met her gaze firmly. No, it won't be easy, but I'm here to help you find a way. The girls fidgeted, their little faces lit with a blend of excitement and anxiety. Sensing the tension, Jack turned to them with a smile. Hey, what if we get together and make a plan? Maybe even a fun poster? One that outlines your mom's goals. Mia's eyes sparkled. Can we use glitter? I love glitter. Of course. Glitter is a must, he grinned, feeling the mood lift a little. But as laughter broke the tension, Jack noticed a flicker of something else in Sarah's eyes, a glimmer of fear that resurfaced every time they broached the subject of change. The momentary joy faded as he sensed that she was still trapped by something unseen. Sarah, he began cautiously, Is there anything you want to share? You don't have to worry. I'm not going anywhere. She hesitated, her face a mask of anguish. It's just that every time I think we're moving forward, something knocks us back. I don't want to fail them again. I can't. Jack felt a pang of empathy. He remembered moments in his own life where the ground had shifted beneath him, leaving him adrift. You won't fail them, he assured her. You'll be surprised by your own strength. Maybe she sighed, rubbing her temples. But I have to consider everything. Can you really take that on with us? You barely know us. Jack stepped closer, his heart racing with purpose. I may not know you fully yet, but I see potential. I feel it in those girls and in you. It's not just about jobs. It's about resilience and finding your way together. Sarah's eyes softened, vulnerability interweaving with hope. There was a spark there, an unspoken determination that he could sense growing. As they exchanged those charged looks, a horn honked sharply from outside. It shattered the moment, bringing back reality with a rush. Jack turned instinctively, his heart beating a little faster. What was that? Mia whispered, tugging at Sarah's sleeve. Jack's mind raced. He hadn't realized how much noise there was in the background. Had someone overheard them? Was something drawing nearer? Just cars outside, he answered, forcing a smile. Let's focus back on our goals. But as Sarah looked out the window, her expression darkened again. I need to make sure the girls are safe. I can't let anything distract us now. Jack's stomach dropped. Fear wasn't just living behind her eyes. It was seeping into this moment, threatening to unravel everything. What do you mean by that? As Sarah stood frozen, her gaze distant, Jack felt that familiar knot in his stomach tighten. She was hiding more than the loss of her job. Perhaps there were shadows lingering close, waiting for their chance. It's nothing, she finally said, but the trembling of her voice told a different story. Jack opened his mouth, ready to press for the truth, but something held him back. He wanted to respect her space, yet he knew he had to push through to the core of her fears. This fragile partnership was built on honesty, and unless they could share their vulnerabilities, it would all come crashing down. The moment hung thick between them, but just as Jack prepared to speak again, the door rattled unexpectedly, sending a jolt through everyone in the room. Who's that? Layla quivered, her small frame pressing against Sarah protectively. I'll check, Sarah stammered, her bravery wavering. Jack's instincts kicked in. Wait, let us think this through first. But as Sarah moved toward the door, the atmosphere shifted dramatically, inviting both curiosity and caution. What waited for them on the other side? And as Sarah's hand reached for the door, Jack's heart raced. He wondered if the truths hidden in her past were about to collide with the present in a way they were all unprepared for. The door swung open with a creak that echoed through the small living room. The cool air rushed in, sending a chill down Jack's spine. Standing there was a figure he hadn't expected: Tom, Sarah's old colleague, and someone from her past she had tried desperately to leave behind. Tom's voice was laced with an unsettling mix of concern and accusation. I've been looking for you. Sarah's body tensed, her protective instinct flaring as she instinctively shielded her girls behind her. What are you doing here? She spoke with a shaky resolve, her back straightening. But Jack could see the fear flickering beneath her tough exterior. Tom stepped in without invitation, the air thickening with tension as he glanced quickly at the girls. I just want to talk, he said, his tone softening slightly. About what happened. You can't just run away from this. Jack's heart raced. There was more to this story. He could see how Tom's presence sent shockwaves through Sarah's frame. She was caught between two worlds, one of hope, one of the uncertain past. Can't we do this later? Sarah's voice wavered. I have my girls here. This isn't the time. Tom, sensing the weight of the moment, held up his hands in a gesture of peace. I'm not here to hurt you. I just want to help. You know how things have changed. With a simple phrase, he had reminded Jack of the layers underlying their connection. Help? Sarah shot back, the anger rising in her voice like a flame. Help or control? You think you can just walk back into my life after everything? Jack stepped forward, the protector within him igniting. Maybe we should all take a step back. He glanced at the girls, who were peeking around their mother. They don't need to hear this. Tom met Jack's glare, a mixture of contempt and surprise. Who are you to dictate what's happening here? This doesn't involve you. Sarah's eyes shifted between the two men, desperation creeping in. I want to do this on my own. This is my life. My choice. The resolve in her voice pierced through the tension, but Jack could feel the tremors of doubt stirring beneath the surface. She was battling more than just Tom. She was battling her own fears. Tom took a step closer, voice lowering to a conspiratorial whisper. You think you can make it alone? The girls deserve more than this. I can help you get back on your feet. Remember the plans we had together? Jack pressed his lips together, body tense. You need to leave. His words came out steady but firm. Sarah's expression transformed as she gripped the door tighter. She had been seeking independence, and Tom's presence undermined that dream. I don't need anyone who has been a part of my past. Each word was charged with emotion. Tom sighed, clearly struggling. Then you'll risk losing everything you've worked for. Sarah's eyes glistened, betraying the pain behind her bravado. I refuse to let my past dictate my future. I'm building something new, and no one can take that away from me. The weight of her words settled in the room. Jack could see the glimmers of determination growing, yet the flicker of doubt in her expression told him there was still so much to confront. Let us talk about the future, Sarah, Jack said softly, stepping forward again, carefully navigating the chaos. Just you and me. He could see her resolve hardening, but Tom's presence lingered like a dark cloud overhead. Please just go. I can't do this. Sarah's voice cracked, revealing the vulnerability she was trying to shield from both men. As Tom opened his mouth to continue the fight, Jack knew that this was the tipping point. It was too much for Sarah to bear, and if he didn't intervene, it could unravel everything. Suddenly, the atmosphere shifted again as a loud bang erupted from outside, startling everyone. They all turned to see a police car pulling up in front of the house with sirens blaring. What now? Tom exclaimed. Confusion etched across his face. Jack's heart pounded as an unexpected sense of urgency flooded him. We need to figure this out now. The stakes were higher than ever, and Sarah's past was rushing back, threatening to entangle them all. What would happen now that more eyes were on their struggle? Could they face the shadows of her history together? Or would the secret Tom hinted at tear them apart? As the police car's lights flashed crimson and blue, a wave of panic surged through Sarah. The sirens pierced the tense air, and the weight of the moment settled in her chest like a lead balloon. She felt exposed, every secret open for scrutiny, particularly now with Tom blocking the way to her sanctuary, the safety of her home and her children. What do they want? She murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. Tom's eyes darted to the window, knitting his brows in concern. This isn't good, he muttered, as if contemplating his next move. We need to be careful. Jack instinctively moved closer to Sarah, determination flaring in his chest. We'll figure this out, he assured her quietly, looking deep into her eyes. You're not alone in this. But the truth loomed like a storm on the horizon. Behind him, the girls were tugging at Sarah's shirt, their wide eyes reflecting innocence and confusion. Mom, who are they? Lily, the older by a minute, asked, her small voice tinged with worry. Just stay close to me, Sarah replied, forcing a smile that didn't reach her eyes. The weight of her past bore down on her, insisting on being acknowledged. Yet she fought fiercely to maintain her facade of strength. At that moment, an officer stepped out of the police car. He was tall, with a stern expression that didn't seem to soften as he approached the door. Ma'am, he called, his voice firm yet calm, we need to ask you a few questions. Jack felt the room freezing, the air thick with unspoken fears. What's this about? He demanded, stepping protectively in front of Sarah and the girls. There's no reason for you to involve them. Just doing our job, sir, the officer replied, his gaze assessing both men. We received a report about a disturbance in the area. Is everything all right inside? Tom shifted, visibly uncomfortable under the scrutiny. "It's a misunderstanding," he said quickly, his earlier calm unraveling. "Just a conversation." "More like a confrontation," Jack interjected, his voice steady but laced with the rising tension. He couldn't shake the feeling that Tom was more involved in this than he seemed. The officer raised an eyebrow, studying the three adults before taking note of the children's anxious expressions. "I see," he replied, "but if there's a potential threat, we have to take it seriously. Can I have your identification, please?" The weight of the situation pressed heavily on Jack, while Sarah's bravado began to crack. Could she really keep her family safe? Would this encounter drag her back into the chaos she fled? The questions twisted in her mind like a non-stop reel. "Tom," she said slowly, desperation creeping in. "You need to leave. They don't need to see this." "I'm not your enemy," he snapped, and for an instant Jack saw that flicker of hurt cross his face. "I just want to help." "But if you keep trying to shut me out enough," Jack interrupted, his voice rising a notch. "This isn't about you, Tom. It's about Sarah and her daughters." The officer's eyes narrowed, clearly unsettled by the brewing conflict. "I suggest we all take a breath. We can resolve this without escalating things further." He stepped back, giving them a moment to regroup. The weight of that moment drew everyone into silence. The world outside their fragile bubble pressed in. Could Tom be trusted? Was he truly only offering help? Or did his presence signal danger that was lurking around a corner? As Jack glanced at Sarah, he felt a surge of something he hadn't allowed himself to acknowledge before, an overwhelming need to protect her, to chase away the shadows of her past and the uncertainty of the future. He wanted to be her anchor, but in the heart of that moment, as the officer awaited their response, Sarah's breath came in sharp, steadying intervals. "Can't go back." "Not now," she said firmly, almost as if speaking to herself more than anyone else. "I won't let them take away what I've worked for." The silence buzzed around them, a cacophony of thoughts and unspoken fears. Jack took a deep breath, stepping closer to Sarah, linking his strength with her resolve. It was a chance to redefine their story, to fight for the family she was trying to build. Inside, everything felt on the brink of unraveling. Just as Sarah was ready to speak up again, a sudden shout erupted from outside, breaking through the intense stillness. "Hey, is everything okay in there?" Had the past truly returned to haunt them? In that fragile moment, Sarah felt the weight of uncertainty, then release into a spark of determination. Would she step forward and claim her destiny? Or was fate preparing to deal her another hand? The shout from outside hung in the air like a thunderclap, reverberating through Sarah's mind as she turned her gaze from the officer to the window. Fear rippled through her as memories swirled, voices from her past that echoed warnings and dread. What if they were here for her? What if they brought the ghosts that she tried so hard to bury? "Sarah?" The voice belonged to a familiar neighbor, Mike, who had always kept an eye on their street. A wave of relief washed over her, but it was quickly replaced by a new layer of anxiety. Would he see the chaos unfolding inside? "Everything's fine," she called back, forcing a calmness into her voice that didn't quite match the frantic rhythm of her heart. Jack steadied himself next to her, prepared to fend off whatever storm was brewing outside. "We need to get control of this," he said, eyes darting back to the officer still standing there with a clipboard, waiting. The tension radiating from Tom added to the weight in the room, making everything feel more fragile. "Is he going to let this go?" Tom muttered under his breath. "We have to clear this up quick. If he believes we're in danger, stop," Jack said, frustration boiling under the surface. "This isn't helping, Tom. You need to. Why do you even care?" Tom snapped, his voice low but laced with bitterness. "You don't even know her like I do." Jack's eyes narrowed. "This isn't just about you or your feelings. We're talking about her family, her safety." The severity in Jack's tone pulled Sarah away from her inner turmoil momentarily. She felt the burning need to voice her own truth, to assert herself, but fear clamped down on her throat. Could she really command the room? As if sensing her struggle, Jack reached for her hand. The warmth of his grip sent an unexpected spark through her, igniting a flicker of hope. They were in this together, whatever chaos awaited them outside that window. Listen, she finally said, turning toward the officer, determination settling in her tone. I'll answer your questions, but I need to know that my daughters are safe from any more disturbances. The officer's expression softened a notch. I'm just trying to make sure everyone is all right, ma'am. The report mentioned raised voices. It's standard procedure, right? But could you give us a moment? She said, her voice gaining weight with each word. Please. He nodded, casting a glance toward the window, as if to gauge the outside situation. I'll wait here while you gather your thoughts, but I'll be back to chat soon. As he stepped back, Tom exhaled, his shoulders sagging. This was a mistake. I should V just left, he mumbled, cornered by shame. You could V done more to help? Jack shot back, frustration bubbling to the surface. Help? Thomas' eyes locked onto Sarah's. You think I wanted this? I came here because I thought I could be here for you. Sarah felt torn again, the weight of their history gnawing at her insides. Should she forgive him for the past, or close the door forever? The truth was that despite everything, there was a part of her that still cared, still remembered the promise he once made. Suddenly, Lily's voice broke through, pulling Sarah's attention. Mom, I'm scared. The worry etched on the little girl's face sent a surge of urgency through her. Sweetheart, Sarah knelt beside her daughters, enveloping them in her arms. I'm right here. I won't let anything happen to you. Jack crouched down, his presence strong and reassuring. We're gonna get through this together, he said softly, his voice steady. As the moments passed, the tension thickened, forming a wall around them. Would they emerge stronger than before or be buried under the weight of past mistakes? Just then, a knock echoed from the door, sharp and demanding. Police! Open up! The girls clung to Sarah, the reality crashing around her. How would she keep her family safe now? Did Tom's presence mean salvation or doom? Time hung suspended as she braced for the next turn in a roller coaster that might only be beginning. Would she rise to the occasion, or would the shadows of her past swallow her whole? The room was silent, but the air crackled with tension. The heavy knock on the door triggered an instinctive surge of adrenaline in Sarah's veins. Every instinct told her to bolt, to protect her girls at all costs, but she stood rooted, uncertainty holding her like a vice. Mom, Lily whispered, her small voice trembling. What do we do? Sarah soothed, kissing her daughter's forehead. We just need to stay calm. Her heart raced, an insistent drum echoing in her ears. Jack straightened up. I'll handle this, he said, his voice firm and confident. He walked toward the door, his posture a protective barrier. Sarah's heart filled with gratitude, hope blooming in the dark spaces of her mind. Be careful, Sarah called after him, the words slipping out despite her better judgment. The officer's knocking persisted, a forceful reminder of their urgency. Police! Open the door. Jack paused at the threshold, taking a deep breath. He glanced back at Sarah, giving her a reassuring nod that felt like a tether in the storm. Then he opened the door just enough to reveal himself, not fully inviting the chaos in. What's going on? Jack inquired, trying to take control of the situation as much as possible. Just a standard check, sir. We received a call about a potential domestic disturbance, the officer stated, his pen poised ready to jot something down. He scanned the room beyond Jack, his gaze flickering nervously like a candle caught in a gust. Jack stepped forward, blocking the door. Everything's fine here. Just a bit of a misunderstanding. We're working it out. The officer drew back slightly, his eyes narrowing as if sensing there was more to the story. Ma'am, I need to ask you a few questions. His tone softened when he spoke to Sarah. He was concerned, not accusatory. Of course, Sarah replied, summoning every ounce of composure. But my daughters are scared. Can you please assure them that no one is in trouble? We just need a moment. All right, the officer agreed hesitantly. He glanced at Lily and Emma, who still clung to Sarah, eyes wide with fear. I'll keep my distance for a moment. Just take your time. As he stepped back, Sarah's heart pounded in sync with her rising anxiety. She met Jack's eyes, his strength bolstering her. It was a reminder that they were in this together, despite the chaotic past that threatened to tear them apart. "Thank you," she murmured to Jack, her voice barely above a whisper. "I don't know how to do this." "Yes, you do," he replied, his eyes steady on her. They spoke volumes. "You've done this before." Tom lingered behind them, anxiety twisting across his features. "You know I didn't come here to cause trouble. I just wanted to check on you." "Save it," Sarah shot back, feeling her frustration bubble. "This isn't the time for half-hearted attempts at reconciliation." A soft whimper from Lily cut through the air. "Mom, do we have to talk to that man?" "I won't let anything happen to you," Sarah promised, looking into her daughter's eyes, drawing strength from their innocence. "We just need to stay united, no matter what." The officer returned, attention focused back on Sarah. "Ma'am, I still need to understand the situation here. Can you tell me who you're with?" Jack's hand tightened over Sarah's, their fingers interlaced like a lifeline. "We're family," Jack stated, his voice unwavering. "Nothing is wrong that can't be resolved right here." As she bore witness to the battle between Tom's regret and Jack's steadfastness, Sarah felt the weight of the past crashing down on her once again. Was she ready to confront the shadows that had lingered too long? Slowly, the gears in her mind began to turn. Could this be a turning point? "Please, can we just have a moment?" she asked, her voice trembling but firm as the uncertainty loomed over them. The officer hesitated, drawn to the raw emotion in her plea. "All right, I'll give you a bit more time." As he stepped back, Sarah's heart raced. What secrets would surface before the dust settled? Could they all breach this path together, or would the past finally consume them all? Sarah held her breath as the door swung shut behind the officer. The tension in the room thickened, swirling like a storm cloud. She glanced down at her girls. Lily clung to her leg, eyes wide and shining with tears, while Emma stared into the distance, lost in her thoughts. "Mom, are we in trouble?" Lily squeaked again, her small voice laced with fear. Sarah knelt down, brushing her daughter's hair away from her forehead. "No, sweetheart. We're okay. Just a misunderstanding. Remember what I said, together we're strong." Jack stood by her side, his presence a solid wall against the fear creeping back in. He looked down at the girls, his face softening, and mouthed, "You're safe." Tom shuffled awkwardly behind them, clearly uncomfortable in the charged atmosphere. "Sarah, I really didn't want to scare the kids," he said, his voice low and shaky. "Then maybe you shouldn't have shown up when things are already tense." Sarah shot back, her voice sharp as glass. She felt the weight of resentment bubbling. "You think this is good for them? Can we not do this now?" Jack interjected, stepping protectively closer to Sarah. "Let us focus on keeping the girls calm." "Right," Tom agreed, raising his hands in a placating manner. "I just stop," Sarah snapped, her patience fraying. "Every time you reappear, it's a mess. I can't do this with you here." The words hung in the air, thick with accusation. Lily sniffled, breaking the intensity. "Mom." Sarah turned back to her daughters, softening instantly at the sight of their worried faces. She took a deep breath. "I'm sorry, honey. I didn't mean to raise my voice. We're okay. Just a little chaos right now," she assured, placing her palms on their cheeks. Jack shared a look with Sarah, one filled with a mix of concern and understanding. "We need to show them that everything will be all right," he murmured, making an effort to lighten the atmosphere. "Lily, Emma, you know what we should do? Let us tell each other our favorite things. Like, what's your favorite animal, Lily?" Lily looked up, a flicker of curiosity breaking through her fear. Dolphins? Great choice. They're so smart," Jack replied with a grin. "And you, Emma?" Emma's face lit up. "Kittens. See? Nothing to fear," Jack said with a wide smile, trying to keep the mood buoyant. As the girls chatted, Jack suddenly turned to Tom. "Look, if you're going to be here, then you need to be respectful. This is a tough time for all of us." Tom nodded, seemingly cowed. "I get it. I just wanted to help." "Help?" Sarah scoffed, letting out a breath she didn't know she was holding. You think showing up out of the blue is helping? This isn't a movie, Tom. The officer returned, his presence pulling them back from the whirlwind of emotions. Ma'am, are you ready to talk? Sarah's heart raced again. She stepped forward, stealing a glance at Jack, who squeezed her hand. She needed this. They needed this. Yes, I am, she said, her voice steadier than before. Good. I just want to understand everything so I can help. What's there to understand? Tom blurted out. This is all just a big misunderstanding. Sarah shot him a look that screamed for him to stop. It was not just a misunderstanding. It was the past, the hurt, the years lost. Then let us clear it up. The officer leaned forward, focused. What happened tonight? What are we dealing with? Sarah felt the weight of 1,000 moments press against her chest. She knew what needed to be said. Would she have the courage? As the officer's pen hovered over the notepad, Sarah opened her mouth, ready to reveal the truth. Her hand tightened around Jack's. No more secrets, no more shame. Just clarity. What would she confess? Would it lead them all toward healing or deeper into despair? The moment of truth had arrived. As Sarah stood facing the officer, her heart raced like a runaway train, fueled by the urgency to finally confront her truth. She glanced at Jack, who gave her a gentle nod of encouragement. It was time to break free from the shackles of her past and reclaim her life for her girls. Officer, she began, her voice steadying. I appreciate you being here, but there's more to this than a simple misunderstanding. I've been trying to get my life together after a turbulent past. Tom, here is part of that past, a part that I've tried to leave behind. Tom shifted uncomfortably, the hurt etched in his features, but Sarah pressed on. He means well, but his timing is always off. I need to focus on my girls and building a future for them. I can't be dragged back into old wounds. Jack's hand remained encircled around hers, a solid foundation against the storm swirling within. Together, we can create a safe space for them. That's all I'm trying to do, officer, he interjected, his clear voice ringing out as if bolstering her resolve. The officer nodded thoughtfully, pen moving again as he captured every word. Thank you for your honesty, and for wanting to keep your children safe, ma'am. I know this can be overwhelming. Sarah swallowed hard, her eyes misting. She could feel the warmth of Jack's support, binding her courage. I accept that I've made mistakes, but I refuse to let them define me or my family any longer. Sarah, maybe you should, Tom started, but she cut him off. No more excuses, Tom. I can't keep pulling you up while I'm just trying to stand on my own 2 feet. The girls don't deserve this kind of stress, she said, her voice ringing with newfound strength. The officer watched the exchange closely, nodding as if he understood every nuance. It sounds like you're committed to moving forward, but I urge you to be cautious. Change can be difficult. I'm aware of that, Sarah said, a steely determination unfurling inside her. But I want more for my daughters, more than fear and uncertainty. They deserve hope. Lily and Emma, still pressed against their mother, sensed the shift, and they released their breaths in unison, feeling the tension unspool just a bit. Mom, can we draw? Emma asked, her innocent voice breaking through the heavy air. I want to draw our house where we're all happy again. Jack grinned, his heart swelling. What a brilliant idea. Let us create something beautiful together. Right now, he said, the eagerness warming the atmosphere. Can we use glitter? Mia chirped, her excitement blooming like a spring flower after a long winter. Sarah burst with laughter, a sound that echoed through the room and cast aside the shadows. Of course, we'll make it a masterpiece. Tom, taken aback by this sudden warmth, seemed to step back, realizing their focus was shifting away from the negativity surrounding him. I didn't mean to disrupt. I truly enough, Tom, Jack said sharply, his protective nature rising as if guarding them against dark clouds. Let Sarah make her own choices about her life and her future. She doesn't need your shadow hovering over her anymore. Fine. I understand, Tom replied, the regret washing over his face. Just know I'll always care. As the door opened slightly, the officer stepped back into the space, a keen eye on the charged atmosphere. Everything all right in here? Yes, it is now, Sarah responded, her voice lit with newfound assurance. Thank you for your help. No matter what comes, we'll navigate it together. Good to hear, the officer said, his authoritative demeanor softening as he noted the shift in dynamics. I'll check back later. Just take it one step at a time. Once he left, the room filled with laughter as the girls started gathering supplies. Jack edged closer to Sarah, whispers wrapping around them as if sharing a secret only they understood. You were amazing, he murmured, pride gleaming in his eyes. You took back your story. I'm so proud of you. Tears glistened in her eyes, but this time they were tears of joy. It's because of you, she admitted softly, her heart swelling. I couldn't have done this without your support. As the girls giggled and began to create, Sarah realized they might have stumbled upon a new chapter, one forged in resilience, love, and unwavering connections. Maybe they would have troubles ahead, but together they could weather anything. Hey, how about we dream big? Jack suggested, already grabbing glitter. Let us add a sun in the sky symbolizing hope, representing our new beginning. Eyes shining brightly, the girls cheered, and in that moment, Sarah felt clarity wash over her. She saw a future filled with promise, one where fear wouldn't dictate her actions but where strength and love would lead the way. Tears flowed freely now, but they were tears of relief. She would speak her truth and no longer be held back by shadows. She would create a beautiful life, a life of laughter, love, and possibility. With Jack at her side, she knew they were embarking on a journey that might change everything. As the colorful, glitter-filled poster began to take form, it shimmered with hope and promise, each ounce of creativity, a step toward the bright future they were building together, hand in hand, heart in heart. Their incredible transformation wasn't just a subplot anymore. It was the main story. Now, before we finish this emotional journey, I need you to take action. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to help us feed the algorithm. Comment your reactions and feelings about this heartwarming ending. And please, share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. This is the moment to show your support. Your participation is what makes this community thrive. Don't wait not even one more second. Join us.